marry me, you know.
Shoot. The last of the big gun drovers. You never find a wife.
Do now.
There hasn't really been a country musical written in Australia.
This little town is in the middle of nowhere. Anyone who comes here would have a good reason. Bitumen runs.
So here's something new in a couple of ways, coming out of Toowoomba. I mean, it's a Toowoomba story, Darling Downs story, set in Toowoomba, Warwick, Kuya. So it's sort of like very much a musical of its place and of its people.
Except for a few years I spent in college, I'm proud to say that.
You know, I've had a lot of other things going on in my life since, I guess, you know, the heyday of my career in country music. And I guess I saw this as an opportunity to revive some of those songs and just to give them another dimension.
The next musical production to hit Australia's theatre scene is a story set in our corner of Queensland, Toowoomba and the Darling Downs. It'll name-check the spots we know and love, and the story, and the characters and the songs come from the pen of one of Toowoomba's favourite musical sons, Brendon Walmsley.
You're not to be seen with the likes of him. Her father didn't want him around.
It's called Rose and Rodeo. Its lead characters come straight from the lyrics of one of the songs that launched Brendon to fame back in 2000. But the idea and the script came from writer-director John Senczuk while he and Brendon worked together last year on the Empire Theatre's production of Phantom of the Opera.
Brendon actually gave me his CDs as a gift. And of course, you know, I put them on the CD driving the car home after the production, and I just fell in love with them. And there's something also too in the fact that we just spent the last 3 months together, and I'd just heard him singing Andrew Lloyd Webber for days, and there was something about just the honesty of these songs, and the thing too was that there was a great emotional core, as well as a great storytelling there. And they impinged on me. And I just wanted to invest in these songs. And I think I just emailed you and said, what about it?
Yeah. John's enthusiasm for making this happen sort of rubbed off on me in a big way. And you know, we've had to write some new songs for this musical as well, so I've been busy writing new songs, and that's been great to get back into that zone again, you know, and that's exciting as well. And to hear other singers sing my songs, you know, and give them their own interpretation of the lyrics, and that's been an interesting experience as well. And so this whole period of rehearsal, and that is just, as John says, massaging all these different ideas, and it's just amazing what's coming out of it. It's great.
Riders, are you ready? There's a big crowd out tonight. Stakes are high, gates are primed, so pull your hat down tight. Focus on.
It turned out that the songs John Senczuk heard in his car that day also fell in with his long-held dream of an Australian musical with Australian settings and Australian songs.
We've got fantastic singers, triple threat singers, all of them coming out of WAPA and NIDA and VCA and all those great schools. And yet the first things that they're working on, and the majority of their careers, will need them to have American accents, as they all are engaged in those big blockbuster musicals that come out of Broadway or the West End. To some extent, it's economics. It's the nature of producers in Australia, certainly international producers. They bring work that's already tried and tested. They can bring in a Wicked, they can bring in a Les Mis, and it's already a success. Rather than upstage, try and keep it downstage and come on down to him.
Federal Hotel in Kuya.
The other thing I think is that we as audiences don't necessarily take as much interest in local product as we should. A couple of years ago, we wouldn't, as a community, go to Australian movies. All of a sudden, Muriel's Wedding comes along, and Red Dog comes along, and Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, comes along, and all of a sudden, audiences are actually interested now to go to an Australian movie and support Australian movies. I want people to actually just change their attitude slightly to invest in Australian musicals. The more stories we tell in musical form, the better we are. So come down maybe a bit.
Am I shaking a hand?
I think she is a shake a hand.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah. She's a cow. She's a Jillaroo.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that actually interested me in Brendon when I heard his songs, having worked with him on Phantom of the Opera. He's a great storyteller. The songs told stories.
That old hall's not used anymore.
And there was a natural consequence to that where it excited my imagination, and I took those two characters of Rose and Rodeo and actually invented a backstory for them and put them into a dramatic situation. Well, what would happen if they did meet up, but not as late in life as perhaps the song suggested.
That old bloke must have been a great horseman if you're anything to go by.
Well, he's a bit of a legend around here.
May I have your stance, pretty lady? Forget what the others will say.
Well, what people will get when they come, apart from Brendon Walmsley performing on stage, above all you'll be seeing local performers telling an extraordinary love story. And I think people that come along will laugh a little, they'll cry a little. And above all, I think that they'll recognise a sense of place. That's why people will enjoy Rose and Rodeo.